presentation this afternoon. The topic of this afternoon is tracking contract payments, what you need to know. My name is Gabriel Rodriguez. I'm Senior Compliance Officer for the City of Chicago Department of Human Services, and I am the Compliance Unit. Please note that the email address and the presentation is using the number 2 right after my last name. The Z is using the number 2, otherwise correct. Without further ado, let's get on to the materials. Okay, the agenda for today, it covers, we're going to speak about and go over roles and responsibility of the primes and subcontractors for reporting payments, how the email notification process works, what is the importance of the subcontractor payment confirmations, what is a payment discrepancy and how it gets resolved, and just out of the press is Executive Order number 2021-2 and how it will affect the reporting and who to contact when assistance is needed. So let's get on with the program. The compliance audit process, once the contract gets awarded, it becomes part of monitoring, which is normally performed mainly by the Department of Procurement Services, the compliance unit, but it also involves the user department. What we have in place is a web-based program called B2G, which is also the name of the conference, compliance and certification, which is the version for the C2 compliance system. And what happens is once your contract becomes active and once you get the first payment from the City of Chicago, the payment, the system that keeps track of your payments on a monthly basis creates a batch that gets delivered overnight through the overnight updating system into the C2 system. That is step number 2. At that moment, the prime will be notified via email that a payment has hit the contract in the C2 system, and whoever the contact person for that contract is should be always in the lookout. Normally that happens within the first 5 days of every month. And that basically says the City of Chicago has posted a payment into your compliance plan. Please log into the C2 system, assess, and do whatever you need to do. As a point number 3, we're going to go through the different screens that the prime will see and the sub will see in order to complete the compliance audit cycle. When the payment, when the prime gets into the system, into the C2 system using the login credentials, the logic behind this is that when you submit a payment to the city, you will keep track of the invoices that made up that invoice that you submitted to the city. You'll have that backup. So when you have notification that the payment has been reported of the payment that you received already throughout a month, then now it's time for you to report those onto the C2 system. So you log into the C2 system and you start entering the payments for those subs. As soon as you hit the save button, item number 4 will kick in. That means either via fax or via email, the sub is going to get a notification that the prime on XYZ contract has put a payment, and for the sub to log into the C2 system, assess and confirm. Now, this is when it gets a little bit tricky for one reason. Once the sub logs into the TC2 system, the sub is supposed to have his documentation in hand so that he can assess that the payments that have been entered are correct. If they are correct, he will just confirm that the payments are right and move it along. If they are incorrect, most times, for some odd reasons, the sub clicks and says it is incorrect instead of calling the prime and say, hey, something is wrong. So when they say this is wrong and don't call, they create what we call a discrepancy. If the prime start that back and forth with the sub, that might take a little few days until the there's a communication and the item gets resolved. If it isn't resolved within 5 days, the city of Chicago, or at least the compliance officer, steps in and they will have to resolve it for you. Once that is that the discrepancy is resolved, then we move on back to point one, so the audits are all have been confirmed. There is a cycle that is all has to be confirmed by the 25th of every month, the reporting and the confirmation. Now, what do all of this entails? So let me take you there. When the prime gets notification of number 2, okay, that's telling me that the city has made a payment in the contract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I log in and I'm going to step 3. This is what I see. This is what we call a dashboard. This is the prime side of the contract. Please concentrate on the square, the content within the square or rectangular red boxes in the middle of the page. It tells you that you have incomplete audits, meaning that the city has made a payment and that you have not reported it to the subs. Or incomplete discrepancies. That means somebody did not agree with the amount that you paid or that you reported as paid. And we're going to go over the reason for some of the discrepancies. So in this case, we're going to go, either you click on the 7, you click on the 1, or you click on the 6. If you click on the 7, all open audits are going to open up for you. If you click on the 1, that will be only the current one. If you do click on the 6 that are delinquent, that's what you will be taken to. So let's say you click on the 1, you have to do the current. So you click on the 1 and this is what you get. Now, when you wonder, how am I supposed to see 7? So these are your 7. You had, and these are not all related only to one contract. As you can see, the second column from the far right, you have contracts, and I'm happy for you, you have contracts with 7 different agencies, okay? So that means that for all of those contracts for the month of April 2015, and this is when the training was completed, that's when you have all of these incomplete payments. For example, you are only concerned with reporting for the city of Milwaukee, contract number MKE123 test. So if you click on the incomplete right in front of that over to the left, this is what you're going to get. In here, the audit information is for the month of April 2015. And it clearly says, submit a response for each item listed below by each link. Now, the bottom 2 boxes, it tells you who the compliance officer on the contract is. And over to the right, it tells you who the administrator of the contract on the prime side is. So you always have the number of who you need to call in case of the city and who you have to call in regards to who the prime is. In this case, the box in the middle tells you that even though we're not supposed to stretch it that long, you have until the 31st of May of 2015, and the audit is going to last on June 30th. But that's what we always say. You need to do confirmation, your reporting and your confirmation before the 25th of every month, just to stay on track. For this particular contract, let's click on Report 3, Subcontractor Payments. Okay. You can do the top box with the vendors that are listed will pop. And if you click on the Submit Response, you can either look at the bottom of the page. So when you click Submit Response, you can either, if you click on the Submit Response, it will give you the box on the bottom. All of the vendors are listed for the ones that you have to report payments for. Go through that. Or you can do one by one at a time. Okay? So If you're going to do one audit, one sitting, the subcontractor payment information is open for all three of them. Type in the amount that is due to them. Since you have already the record of what you pay them and what the city paid you, you need to complete whether or not the payment was promptly made. Remember, the contract requires that you make the payments to the subs within 7 days after you have received the payment from the city. And then we always ask and we urge you to include the payment detail. What does that mean? Trying to include invoice number, invoice date, check number, and check date, and the amount of the check if you did multiple checks. If it's possible, click on the docs link and upload an Excel spreadsheet or some sort of detail for that sub to have something to reference to. You can also add a free text in the comment section, services for whatever. If it is a task order, you might want to include the task order number, whatever. That is at your own will as to what you want to include. Trying to include as much detail as possible to make the confirmation easier. Do not click anything until you have reported. If you, for example, sub trucking company, you didn't use them, but you use a sprinkler car wash, you're going to report 0. It's a requirement from the contract that you have to include all 0 and non-zero payments. So you're going to enter 0 for that. And the sub has the obligation, because it's part of their contract, that they have to log into the system to confirm nominal and non-nominal payments. Then you're going to click save. And as soon as you click save, each one of those vendors is going to get an email, just as it is here, number 4, that a payment has been reported. Now, if you don't want to do it this way because you have more to report or more meat to report on, then you do each one individually. And then you will enter the amount paid, the payment date, follow the guidelines that are provided, that if more than one payment was entered, you enter the date of the first payment. Then you will click whether the payment was prompt or not. Then you enter the payment detail. You have more space here to enter all the payment detail. If you do have a file to attach, you will attach it, and then you will click save. Same process. The ultimate result is the same. It's just how you go about it is different. So that you can do it all at once in one screen, or you can do one individually so you do not miss one. Now, remember this here, part 5. Now, I got my email. I log into the system. I do have the same dashboard as my Prime does. So it's telling me that I have incomplete audits. So once I click on the incomplete audits, this is what I'm going to receive, and this is what I'm going to see. It's telling me that on a contract where I'm tier 1, Prime contracting is the name of the prime, there is a payment that I have to go and confirm. So I'm going to click on confirm payment received. So this is what I'm going to get. This is what I see. It's telling me what period it is for, who the prime is, what the prime information is. The previous payment information is not that relevant, but it tells how much up to that point I have received. The audit information, and this is one of the things I like, that it provides the detail about the payment. Some people don't like to do that, and that creates some headaches for when you have multiple payments that have been made on a contract during a given month. If it is correct, just click correct. Please stay away from the final payment until you know for certain that your contract with that prime is done and you have delivered the final product. Otherwise, stay away from the final payment. If you do need to process a required field, just click non-applicable, or no, contract still continues. If you do click yes, that this was your last payment, and you save your audit, your name will not appear on the next audit, and the prime will have to contact us to open the audit so that can report that payment for that following month on your behalf. So please stay away from the final payment. For construction only, if the payment is retaining your holdings or not, just click yes or no. If you have anything that you have to attach it, otherwise save it, and that will be the end of the audit. Now, if you happen to say no and they confirm the reported amount and you said incorrect, the amount reported by the prime as paid to us is incorrect. What that does is going to create a discrepancy. We urge you that instead of doing so, that you contact the information of the prime that is right there, who they are, and it's also right here on the bottom, on the right bottom. You call that number, the person who reported the payment, and you resolve the discrepancy. What is the payment discrepancy? Is the difference between what prime reported and what you have received, or what you perceive I have received. Both of you will get an email, and not only you will get an email, you will see this when you open your dashboard, not only the prime, but also the sub. And this applies to all contract types, not just for construction. It applies for work services, vehicles, and heavy equipment, professional services, all sort of contracts. So if the prime and the sub start going back and forth, because the system allows you 3 times to go back and forth, and if there's no resolution, then we'll step in. If the prime cuts checks, let's say they issue their first check on the 15th, and the second check is on a Friday, which is the end of the month, they sign it, they put it in the envelope, and it goes to the post office. It didn't make it to you yet. It's going to make it to your office on the 3rd or the 4th of the following month. So you're going to say, nope, I didn't get that payment. So my payment that is reported is incorrect. You are only counting for the check that you got in the early part of the month, not the one that was caught at the end of the month, which is the requirement on the prime side to report the payments between the first and the end of the month, not when you got it. So always be, if the check date has the end of the month, that check goes within the reporting period, not outside of the reporting period. So if you do agree with the resolution, that is a overlapping of dates, then you resolve the discrepancy just among the two of you. If not, we need to step in and we will resolve that for you. What is Executive Order 2021-2? It was enacted recently, and it kind of expands the reporting in regards to diversity goals. One of the requirements is the prime will be required to produce and submit as part of the contract the projections for each one of the subs that are listed on the contract. The projection spreadsheet is divided by quarters. So in case you happen to be having a shortfall at any given time, then we can make the assessment, or it's because somebody has not been utilized yet, or it's not in the plan to be utilized until later within the year. There's also a requirement for quarterly reporting. For the quarterly reporting, number one is going to help you tie your numbers, the actual physical checks versus what has been reported into the system. And if, when you are done with the quarterly reporting, if there's a mismatch, or if the percentage that you're supposed to be obtaining at that moment, whether it is MWB or a D contract, it will ask you, the system will automatically open up a box for you to calculate what your corrective action plan will be. The primes have agreements with the city of Chicago that will require them to submit the annual reports. And that's another requirement, that all of that is being given and is being explained with each one of the packages for the one that you guys have been applying for. Okay. Most of these are going to be coming directly through the C2 system, at least part 2 and part 3. Now, you can let me know if there's any questions or concerns.
Gabriel, can you hear me?
Yes,
Gabriel,
I can.
can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
great. Um, I at this time don't have any questions, but I will solicit to see if anyone has questions for Gabriel. If you can put it in the Q&A panel, which is at the far right-hand corner of our screen. And it should say Q&A. If not, you should see the 3 dots. Click on the 3 dots and the menu will come up. You can click on the menu and type your question in and press the enter key, and then we'll all see it. If not, I want to thank Gabriel for imparting that great information out to us. We're just going to give a few extra minutes here to see if any of the folks have a question at all. If they do not, I want to thank our attendees for coming today, because you do have a choice and you can choose to look at the videos if you want to, or you can dive deeper into the website to get your information and such, or you can read those volume sets of the procurement process on how you do things, and then go online and delve in deeper to get your questions answered. But you chose to come here today because we have Gabriel waiting to answer your questions if you have any. And Gabriel, I think you did a wonderful job, as you always do, because there are no questions for you today.
Thank
Aren't you
you all for coming
surprised?
out.
All right. So I want to thank Gabriel. I want to thank Rodney, and I want to thank you all for coming on today. I say stay safe, stay well, wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask, get your vaccination, get your boost shot, whatever you need to do so that we can come together one day, and we can do these workshops in person as well as online. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Gabriel, you can go ahead and sign off.